You know, here in 2025, with artificial intelligence, with the way the technology markets are going, we're seeing a huge uptrend in cybersecurity issues, fraud, scams, and more with many of our successful retirees at REAP Financial. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's just getting started. And when you think about where AI is headed, there are going to be more and more challenges when it comes to protecting your wealth from fraud and scams. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the do's and the don'ts when it comes to cybersecurity and protecting your wealth. Keep it right here. Good day, everybody. Chris Herline here of REAP Financial, host of Retire Ready TV, every Monday and Wednesday on KXAN here in Austin, and host of Wealth Radio for over a decade now on News Radio KLBJ every Saturday, 11 a.m. Be sure to tune in with me there. And also, if you enjoy our content here, be sure to hit the subscribe button, click the bell for notifications as I drop new content here every week so that you can stay on top of the latest. Today, I want to talk about the do's and the don'ts when it comes to your wealth and cybersecurity, protecting your personal information, and a lot more. I'm going to tell you right now, even some of the most savvy investors and successful people out there are being taken advantage of on a daily, weekly, monthly, annual basis. We're even seeing it with many of our successful clients right here in Austin at REAP Financial. We've had situations where we've had to step in to help protect the wealth, the portfolio from being taken, meaning this individual could end up having to go back to work. I mean, there are so many cases that we're seeing day in, day out, and I want to ensure that you understand that here in 2025, the day and age that we live in, it's very easy to get taken advantage of. It could be romance scams, it could be email scams, it could be video scams, it could be social security scams, it could be IRS scams, Medicare scams. There are so many angles that fraudsters are approaching and going after seniors and retirees, and you have to be vigilant. So today I want to talk about the do's and the don'ts. The first one is to ensure that you're using two-factor authentication with all of your accounts, not just your email password, not just your bank account, your credit cards, your credit reports, and a lot more. Two-factor authentication is very simple. It's something that can be set up generally online in the portal. And it's something around the idea of you log in and then it says, hey, we're going to send a one-time code to your email or to your cell phone, and then you input that code. And I'm going to tell you right now, one of the scams we've seen recently is individuals will receive a phone call from a merchant or from a provider of email or a social media service, a payment service, and say that they're with the customer service and they just sent you a code. That's them potentially trying to log in, triggering your two-factor authentication, and then asking you by phone to give them the code so that they then can access the account. That's just one of many ways that they're going about this. So be sure to have two-factor authentication set up on all your accounts and never share that code that comes to your email or your text. When it comes to your passwords, also consider using multiple passwords. Do not use the same password or even similar passwords for all of your logins. I know it's a little confusing to keep track of, but in today's age, there are applications that you can install on your computer to keep track of all this. You may be old school, keep a book of them, whatever it is. Be sure and mix up your password mix. Also, when it comes to your email, be sure to verify before clicking. You may get things from DocuSign, you may get things from your bank, any of your social medias wanting you to update passwords, telling you something's expired. Always verify before clicking through. Just recently, we had sent out some DocuSigns to clients to update their documentation, their investment forms, things that we have to do throughout the year with the SEC. And I had a client email me immediately after receiving, just saying, hey, sorry to bother you, but did you guys send this email? We were able to then confirm that went out by our office that morning. Never hesitate to take a step further, email the provider before clicking through. Also, when you receive these emails, you may be receiving it from a spoof email. It may be coming from somebody that is not the vendor, and oftentimes you can find that in the URL bar. So there are many ways that they are going about this, but be sure to verify before clicking through. Because not only can you just click through and give them your password or confidential information, there's also cases where things can be automatically downloaded, malware, spyware, things like that can be installed on your computer just by download or just by clicking through. That automatic download can get you in trouble. So be sure, trust, but verify. Monitor your accounts regularly. This is a big one. You may have stuff that you don't utilize often. You maybe got a couple credit cards that you don't put charges on, but a couple times a year, and you're not logging in. I encourage you throughout the month to stay on top of these accounts. Make sure that things are not being utilized that you didn't utilize. Also, I encourage many families to consider locking your credit report. You can go on, establish an account at Equifax, all the TransUnion, Experian, all the big three. And you can set up an account on those, go in and lock your credit report. That way, nobody out there, if they have your Social Security, your details, they're not going to be able to establish or apply for new credit if your report is locked. I've had also people say, well, Chris, that sounds like a lot of work. If I want to go buy a car, buy a boat, buy another house, how do I do this? How do I unlock? It's as simple as going in and clicking a button to unlock, and it's real time. It'll happen immediately. There's not a waiting period. There used to be, but in today's era, it's very easy to lock and unlock your credit. So if you're not seeking credit on a regular basis, one of the most important things you want to do is ensure that you are locking that credit report. Also, believe it or not, you may want to keep tabs on the deed of your home and deed of properties that you own. There is property fraud. There are people out there that can go out and change the name on the deed of your home and then put it on the market for sale and sell it without you even knowing this is transpiring. I know that sounds crazy, but I want you to do research around protecting your property deed. Okay, there's services out there that charge money to do this. I would not recommend utilizing those. Do your own due diligence, but that is one of the very kind of the smaller things that you'd never consider, but be sure and stay on top of even your property deed. All throughout the month, I'm dropping new content right here on our YouTube channel, and I know that you have questions, you have concerns, maybe topics you want me to cover. Be sure and drop that in the comments section below, and I'll be sure and hit those topics in future weeks' episodes. Now, those are the do's. Now, let's talk about the don'ts, okay? Do not ever share your personal information with somebody that's calling for it. Do not make quick financial decisions. It's oftentimes the worst decision you've ever made was on a knee-jerk or based on emotion. Some of the scams that we're seeing out there are romance scams, where initially you're getting involved with somebody online. They're not asking for money initially, but over the weeks, over the months to come, we've seen situations where a client was told that there was a family member that was in distress. There was a financial opportunity that they could get involved in. And this is where you can let emotions dictate these financial decisions. Also, another scam that we've seen has involved the IRS and Medicare. Situations where families are getting a call from somebody that sounds very upset, notifying them that they haven't paid their taxes in months or years, and that if they don't pay today or tomorrow, they're going to have the entire house surrounded by law enforcement or take them to jail. These are the type of things that can scare you, can work up the emotions, but you've got to stay grounded. You've got to say, listen, could this be a scammer? Could this be false? Or am I expecting this? A lot of times people may be calling you around the Medicare A and B and D, your plans. These are things that can be updated. You can enroll in different plans throughout the year, and you're trying to save money, but there are a lot of Medicare scams out there. So if you're not soliciting something, you need to be very wary of providing any sort of personal information or any sort of payment information. If you're ever in a position where you just are trying to trust your gut, something doesn't feel right, I encourage you to consult with a fiduciary financial advisor, consult with your attorney, a CPA, maybe even consult with local law enforcement if things have gotten to a certain point where maybe you're at a loss or something has been taken advantage of. I was very surprised in a recent experience where the local law enforcement got involved very quickly and was able to step in and stop further abuse, further fraud. So never hesitate to reach out to a trusted advisor, local law enforcement, in the event that you feel like you've been taken advantage of. So I want to propagate hope. Okay, here in 2025, technology, it's a great era to be alive. There's so many ways it's impacting our lives in a positive way, but you just want to stay vigilant out there. Now, I want you to click on this next video about how most people make huge retirement planning mistakes. Don't be one of those.